Well, let's start with the big story of the day, and this is coming in from West Asia. Concerning news update coming in from the Strait of Hormuz. An Indian crew member has been killed after two UAE oil tankers were hit by Iranian cruise missiles. 8 other crew members, they have also received injuries in this attack, and 6 of them are Indians, is what we're learning so far. So unfortunately, we're learning about death of one Indian national after attack on one oil tanker in the Strait of Hormuz. According to the UAE, the tankers were sailing through Omani territorial waters when they came under missile fire. The vessel Mombasa suffered the attack, while the second tanker Al-Bhaiya was also struck. Now, UAE has condemned the attack in the strongest term, calling this a violation of the international law. And remember, this is the second such incident in the last 2 days. On Sunday as well, one Indian national, we're learning, has gone missing after an attack on the commercial vessel GFS Galaxy off the coast of Oman earlier last week. And now, on the latest, we're learning about this concerning update coming in as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. And we are also learning about a statement from UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and in that they have condemned this in a strongest term, that the hostile attack targeting the nationals there, oil tanker Mombasa and Al-Bhaiya, they have come under attack in the Strait of Hormuz. We're learning that it was within Omani territorial waters, and UAE Ministry of Foreign Affairs has extended sincere condolences to the government of India and people following the death of an Indian national in this strike. Let me get you more perspective and go across to former diplomat KP Fabian. Sir, a very concerning news update coming in from the Strait of Hormuz. We are learning that an Indian member has been killed after 2 UAE oil tankers were hit by Iranian cruise missile. And this is something that we've seen in the last few days as well. One Indian member is still missing as far as GFC Galaxy vessel is also concerned. Your take on this?
Good morning. We have to, as I have always said, look at the big picture. One element is that India accounts for a high percentage of sailors across the world. Second is that these tankers which are passing through the Strait of Hormuz closer to the coast of Oman. Now, Iran has taken the line that all tankers have to obey instructions from the authority which they have constituted, technically speaking, more or less in conjunction with Oman. But I repeat the word technically speaking. Now, America has been trying to give military protection to ships moving closer to the Omani side. And that means Iran's position that the Strait of Hormuz will be controlled by Iran and Oman is getting, weaker and weaker. And that is why they have been hitting. And we get hit because, as I said earlier, so many of sailors across the world are Indian nationals.
Absolutely. A concerning update there coming in from the Strait of Hormuz. We are learning about a death of an Indian crew member after 2 UAE oil tankers were hit by Iranian cruise missile. In fact, thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. Let me take our viewers through the statement that has come in from UAE Foreign Ministry. They've mentioned in that statement that United Arab Emirates has condemned and denounced in the strongest terms the Iranian attacks that targeted the national oil tankers Mombasa and Al-Bhaiya with 2 Iranian cruise missiles while transiting the southern shipping lane of the Strait of Hormuz within Omani territorial waters. In a statement, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs affirmed that Iranian hostile attack resulted in death of 1 Indian national and the injury of 8 others, including 4 who sustained serious injuries. The injured comprises 6 Indian nationals and 2 Ukrainian nationals. The ministry extended the sincere condolences and sympathy to the family of the victims as well as to the government of India and wished all the injured a speedy recovery. It has also got on to say that the hostile attack constitutes a flagrant violation of the UN Security Council Resolution 2817, which reaffirmed the importance of freedom of navigation as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. So that is the latest we're learning as far as attack on this vessel that the Strait of Hormuz is concerned. I'm also joined by AK Sivat. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. How do you look at this concerning update that is coming in from the Strait of Hormuz? Once again, we're witnessing attack on the vessels there. And most importantly, we're learning, and unfortunately at this point in time, one Indian national has lost his life.
There is no denying the fact that the situation is becoming critical in Strait of Hormuz. It's a tit for tat. The Americans have attacked almost 300 targets very close to the Strait of Hormuz, basically of Iran, or those which are interfering with the movement of the ships in the Strait of Hormuz. And in return, Iran is hitting basically the bases of especially the Americans in the Gulf. At the same time, it's not allowing any ship to move through Strait of Hormuz. One should understand the Strait of Hormuz is international water. There is a UN clause which very clearly says, United Nations Convention for Law for Sea, that it can neither have been blocked nor the toll can be taken. In case if this happens, then you will find that even Malacca Strait will be blocked by Indonesia, Malaysia and Singapore. They cannot equalize it with Panama Canal and Suez Canal. These were artificially made and there is a maintenance charges. Now, the point is that Iran has become extremely aggressive with Strait of Hormuz. It's not letting go any ship. The ships are trying to go toward the coastline of Oman in the southern portion. But that is also where the Iranis are hitting, and it's unfortunate where the Indians have also become casualty in this crossfire. So this needs to be stopped, otherwise you find it that the oil which was start coming, there are about 130 to 140 oil tanker passes every day before 28 February. And now there are not more than 2-3 which are passing by, and that also Chinese. So until unless the situation cool down and there is the talks against
right.
in Qatar, it looks to me that the situation is aggravating. It may get spiral out of control.
All right, so it remains to be seen how this pans out in the coming hours, whether there will be escalation or de-escalation. Thank you so much, Major General AK Sivat, for connecting with us and putting that into perspective. I'm also joined by retired Major General KK Sinha. Thank you so much, sir, for connecting with us. How do you look at what is happening there in the Strait of Hormuz? In the latest, we are learning that one Indian crew member has been killed after 2 UAE oil tankers. They have come under attack, and this is not the first case. In fact, on Sunday, we are learning that another vessel was attacked, and because of that, one Indian national is still missing.
Good morning, Jehan. In the Strait of Hormuz, the United States and Iran conflict is getting into a new phase, and the escalation is actually leading to a level that is very difficult now to bring it back. It might go to an all-out war. This phase, the Iran, the way after the Ayatollah Khamenei's, those ceremonies are over. The Iran has taken it to the new level. They're attacking, the ships which is trying to cross the Strait of Hormuz. As for the United States of America is concerned, especially along the coastlines of Oman, they were trying to keep this lane open, and I think there is always there is a retaliation from the Iran. Iran, not only this Cyprus-bound, the ship that was hit 2 days back, and now the 2 ships in Oman coast has been hit, and in both the crew members were the Indians. Now, what you are saying that that one is killed and one is missing
right.
of the coast. On the earlier case, which was the Cyprus-bound, the flagship which was there, in which the 10 were rescued and 1 was missing. In that also, the India has taken a very, very strong position and given a statement that, this should not be happened. And I also feel it that Iran is taking into the level, which is, I think, it is spiraled to all-out conflict. There is one more development that, the Trump is saying that he will charge 20% of the toll for the Iranian, any vessel crossing over there. And the Iran at the same time is also saying that they will levy the toll. So it is getting into a level where it is very difficult to get out. Over and above, there is a more involvement of the Russia. There is a TU series of command and control, the aircraft which has landed in Tehran. And this is a doomsday plane. It has come from Russia. And of course, the Russia has not sent the combat, but the crew members are all Russians. So this is a new level. This is a new development which is taking place. There is a direct involvement now, open involvement of Russia in this. Well, what for this doomsday plane has come and landed in Tehran? Actually, it is a point, to think of why it is coming. It is not a very normal development which is taking place in this
Absolutely, and once again we're witnessing escalation there in the Strait of Hormuz, and this after Donald Trump, remember, just few hours earlier announced that he will reimpose the naval blockade in that key waterway. Thank you so much, KK Sinha, for connecting with us and putting that into perspective. We have another breaking update coming in, a statement that has also come in from Iran as well, as missiles have struck 2 oil tankers of UAE. IRGC has defended attack on UAE tankers, saying that tankers violated the regulations and that is why they have come under attack. Tankers ignored repeated warnings is what the Public Relations Department of IRGC has put out on social media, saying that in the name of God, may He punish them at your hands, humiliate them, grant you the victory over them, and heal the heads of the painful. And they have gone on to say in this statement that a few hours ago, the child-killing U.S. military, which has not learned from the repeated failures, attempted to provoke and guide several vessels to an illegal route. So they're calling this an illegal route, also going on to say that 2 oil tankers that violated the regulations, their navigation system was also disabled by them. They ignored repeated warnings from the Strait of Hormuz Security Control Center, and that is why they have been hit. Let me get you more perspective and go across to former diplomat Veena Sikri. Thank you so much, ma'am, for connecting with us. How do you look at what is happening as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned? We are witnessing escalation once again, and this is now connected to India, because in the latest, 1 Indian national has gone missing, and just a while back we are learning that 1 Indian national has also lost his life because of the attack on the vessels there. Your take on this?
Yeah, I think this is a major escalation. I think we have to really worry about what is going on, because, of course, it is a tragic incident that another ship with Indian sailors have been attacked and another Indian sailor has lost his life. This is a very important aspect of what is happening, because last time when this happened, near the Strait of Hormuz, even the International Maritime Organization had said that they must focus on safety of commercial shipping and safety of the sailors who are on the commercial ships. But this is not being observed. Much more than that, I think, together with the fact about the Russian aircraft coming into Tehran and, Russia being firmly behind Iran, I think we have to really consider this heading straight into what can only be described as World War III. As it is in the Ukraine sector, in the Ukraine-Russia conflict, we have seen very important statements from Russia in the last few days saying that, the conflict is escalating dangerously and it is really on the brink of another world war. Now in West Asia, this is heading in the same direction. So I think unless the world comes together to take a serious view, unless America itself decides to bring a halt to conflict, knowing that it's going to lead to further prices, rise in petroleum product prices has already started, and also the fact that the American Congress is demanding that they should be involved if there's any question of continuing of some war-like situation. I hope that the Congress puts its strong position and will behind ending these conflicts, these hostilities, behind ensuring that the hostilities are not allowed to escalate. This has to happen now because it is a very, very dangerous moment. And I hope that we will soon see a cessation of these hostilities. Yesterday's statement from President Trump that they are going to take over the Strait of Hormuz and run it at a commercial, at commercial level, at commercial prices, is again very, very dangerous because America has no position in the Strait of Hormuz, and for them to consider.
Absolutely. So it remains to be seen what Indian government has to say on this and whether any action will also be taken, because one Indian national has lost his life, another one is missing as far as that Sunday attack is concerned. Thank you so much, Veena Sikri, for connecting with us and putting that into perspective. And with that, we have another breaking update coming in. Tensions are rising across Middle East as well. Air raid sirens was sounded again in Bahrain, with authorities activating the country's air defense system as a precautionary measure. So Gulf nations remain on high alert. In the last few days, we have seen multiple attacks on several countries, including UAE, Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, as well as other countries there in Gulf are also concerned. And now in the latest, we're learning that air raid sirens, they were sounded again in Bahrain. Let me get you more details and go across to Mayank, who's been tracking them. Mayank, we're learning that, in fact, tensions are rising across Middle East again, and that has become a playbook of Iran. Whenever US bombs Iran, and something that we are witnessing in the last few hours, the southern part of Iran has been attacked once again. In retaliation, they hit back at the Gulf countries, and in the latest, air raid sirens have been sounded again in Bahrain, something that we've been witnessing multiple times in the last few days. Give us more details about this.
Yes, Akansha. As of now, the operations from the US had been to knock off all the batteries or the ability of Iran to hit or use missiles or launch drones in a way to hit anything which is moving in the Strait of Hormuz. And this is happening because we need to go back to the statements, and which we had times now has been bringing out, is that Iran has been claiming that it is IRGC which will be giving the permissions, and all the ships which will be moving from those sites will be from the corridor which will be created by Iran. So anything violating or going beyond that or not asking for permissions will be attacked. This is what is happening. Now, American operation has been to blunt that capability. What has been happening is, since Iran has been, as you have already brought out and used the word tactics, they are hitting every infrastructure or the base which is used as for the military purposes, or is used for logistics or administrative purposes by the US forces, or anything which is supporting the US forces in that regard. So they are treating any such area or infrastructure as enemy infrastructure, enemy area or enemy zone. Thus, they are saying that it becomes logical for them as a defensive gesture. They are going to hit all those areas. This is the statement which has come out. Thus, you see all kind of missiles and drones which are being used to hit all these bases. And the countries included also up to the extent of King Hussein airport of Jordan. And in one of the operations, even Saudi Arabia was hit. So what you see is actually an entire span which is on the southern side of Iran, Strait of Hormuz. If you look at Strait of Hormuz to its north, so all the southern areas which is encircling the Strait of Hormuz have been hit by missiles and drones from Iranian side. This is the tactics, as you have said. But then it really becomes complicated, because on one side is Iran sitting and they are not allowing any movements. Now from today, the blockade has started. This is going to stop the movements completely and will draw down the situation or take you back to the situation wherein nothing was moving out or coming into that area, Akansha. Thus it is complicated.
Absolutely, and we are back to square one where it all started. There was some respite in the last few days, but another fighting has started there in West Asia. Stay on with us, Mike. I'll come back to you once again. Let's take our viewers through all about the US bases in West Asia area that have been attacked over the last few days. So Iran has struck US military sites in Oman. In Jordan, Prince Hassan Air Base has come under attack. Let's tell you about Bahrain as well, where in fact we're learning about damage in Jordan, as we told you, fuel tank and ammunition depot that has come under attack. So this is as far as the strikes on the Gulf countries are concerned, US Army installation and infra in Bahrain. And in the latest, just a while back, we told you that air raid sirens are sounding in Bahrain. So it is once again under attack. In Kuwait, the fuel depot, air defense infra has been attacked. In Oman, FPS long-range aerial radar that has been attacked. So Iran is saying that the country has attacked the US bases in all these Gulf countries in retaliation to what US has done, and the bombing in southern part of Iran is what we're learning so far. And with that, we have another breaking update coming in. The Hormuz standoff has taken a dramatic new turn. US President Donald Trump has announced that naval blockade will be reimposed again. The location spans the Persian Gulf, the Sea of Oman and the Strait of Hormuz. Trump has also made it quite clear that global shipping will be allowed to pass through, but not the Iranian ships and the ships of the countries doing business with Iran. Not just this, Trump has said that his country will be charging 20% fee for cargo shipped through. And now, in a threat to Iran, he has said, and I quote, "We are doing another major attack on Iran very soon." And that is the latest we are learning as far as the naval blockade is concerned. Remember, it was imposed for the first time in April earlier this year, and it was withdrawn in June when the deal was signed between the two countries. But now, once again, we are witnessing that the Hormuz standoff has taken a dramatic new turn. U.S. President Donald Trump just announced that he has reimposed the naval blockade. In fact, we're learning that it will be imposed tomorrow, and the location will be spanning once again from the Persian Gulf, the Sea of Oman and the Strait of Hormuz. Let me get you more details about this and go across to geopolitical expert Patikrit Ben. Thank you so much for connecting with us. How do you look at what is happening as far as the Strait of Hormuz is concerned? Iran has blocked the key waterway. US has said that they will be reimposing the naval blockade, which will be reimposed in just few hours from now. We're also witnessing attack on the vessel there. And in the latest, we're learning that one Indian national has also lost his life on Sunday. We are learning that there was another attack and one Indian national is still missing there. So this affects India as well. Your take on this?
Yeah, number one, we are back to square one.
Right.
And all that, approach of the American government to have a peace framework and peace deal, it has not worked. If they impose a 20% fee for giving security, it is extremely difficult for United States to give foolproof security in that region. So for all the tankers, because the Iranians use loitering munitions, which are extremely difficult to detect and thwart. At the same time, the Iranians cannot say that the entire blame is only on the Americans. They're equally responsible for all of it. However, if you look at in the last 3 months, I think the Indian government has diversified the oil sourcing considerably more than what it was probably 3-4 months back. And therefore, this time, even though it is definitely a cause for worry, it will definitely have impact. But I think the enormity of the impact will be considerably lesser than what it was probably 3 months back. So far as the sailors are concerned, it is a very, very serious, cause for worry. It is absolutely an inhuman thing to target an unarmed, tanker which only consists of civilians and not soldiers. But there are hundreds of thousands of sailors of Indian origin who work in different countries and in the entire shipping business. So there is a cause for worry, and I'm sure the government will do whatever is necessary. But Strait of Hormuz and Middle East is going up into the flares all over again. It only shows, and we have been saying it for quite some time, that whatever peace framework was being declared or being talked about, or being, whatever facade was going on, was only perhaps for both sides to rearm themselves to start the conflict all over again. I do not think either side was very serious about having a permanent and long-lasting solution to the problems there. Back to you.
And in fact, now we are seeing the repercussion of that. Donald Trump announcing that the deal is completely over and that his country will be reimposing the naval blockade there in just some time from now. Thanks so much, Patikrit Ben, for connecting with us and putting that into perspective. And with that, we have another breaking update coming in from West Asia. The standoff in the Strait of Hormuz is growing sharper by the hour. In fact, Iran has issued a strong warning to the United States, saying that it will not allow the country to interfere in the management of the key waterway, that is the Strait of Hormuz. The warning comes after U.S. President Donald Trump announced that he will be reimposing the naval blockade, targeting Iranian shipping and the countries who are doing business with Iran. Iran has made it quite clear that its armed forces are ready to respond to any U.S. action and has warned that any country providing any sort of support to American forces could be treated as a party to the war. With both sides now hardening their position, fears of a wider escalation that we're now witnessing in the Gulf countries as well in West Asia, that continues to grow. We'll continue to get you more updates on this with this a very short break. More news and updates on the other side.